This article originally appeared on Den of Geek UK. When the credits rolled on 1986's Aliens, the inevitable question from many moviegoers was, what happens next? For 20th Century Fox, and writer-producers David Giler and Walter Hill, it took nearly 6 years to figure out an answer to that question. Certainly when Aliens was in production, director James Cameron had some ideas about a sequel. He once spoke about the prospect of Ripley, Hicks, and young Newt, a makeshift family thrown together by that film's events, meeting up again for a second sequel to Alien. I know that James Cameron had planned to have Hicks, Ripley and me in Alien 3, to have a family-type thing, Newt actress Carrie Henn said in 1995. Watch Alien 3 on Amazon Prime. A year after Aliens came out, Cameron was unequivocal about leaving the Alien universe behind. But in a 1987 issue of Starlog magazine, he did mention in passing his ideas about what Alien 3 would, or, rather would not, entail. It's not in the goddamned cat and it's not in Newt, either, he wrote, in response to the question of how the xenomorphs would have survived the cataclysmic explosion at the end of Aliens. I would never be that cruel. In fact, Aliens and Ridley Scott's original Alien left Alien 3's producers in a situation akin to performance anxiety. How do you follow up two classic movies with something equally fresh and successful, from a creative standpoint? It didn't help that just about everyone, from Fox executives down to fans who'd flocked to Aliens, wanted to see a sequel more than Giler and Hill did. We weren't that enthused, Giler said in 2003. David and I were a bit sick of it, Hill later added. Sigourney Weaver, whose presence in the franchise was almost as pivotal as the title monster, wasn't enthusiastic about doing a third film, either. But commerce required that Alien 3 be made, and with gritted teeth, Giler and Hill began hunting around for ideas. See related. Why Alien 3 deserves a second chance. Why Prometheus is better than you remember. Of course, we all know what happened in the end. Alien 3 finally emerged in cinemas in 1992, the directorial debut of David Fincher, and a film that he's still reluctant to discuss in public to this day. But before Alien 3 came out, a welter of sequel ideas were flung around offices and writers' rooms, some inspired, some ridiculous. To date, they remain as mere concepts or discarded scripts, and it's likely that many more remain tucked away in a cupboard somewhere, still to see the light of day. For now, here are some of the unused Alien 3 ideas that we currently know about. Aliens head to Earth. Before Alien 3 was released, a teaser trailer was put out by Fox. In 1992, on Earth, we will discover that everyone can hear you scream when it's somewhat clunky narration, as an alien egg was shown hovering over the luminous bulk of our planet. That the aliens would eventually end up on Earth seemed logical enough from a story point of view. Villainous corporation Weyland Yutani had long been intent on acquiring a xenomorph, after all, and the idea had already been pursued in the Aliens series of Dark Horse comic books. According to a 1992 issue of Sciencescape magazine, one of the earliest ideas for Alien 3 indeed saw the Earth visited by a swarm of dreaded star beasts. This time, however, the aliens would fuse into what the publication described as a giant, multi-talented monster that destroys New York City. Exactly what multi-talented means isn't clear. Could the giant alien tap dance? But the idea, which sounds more like a Godzilla-like kaiju movie than an Alien sequel, was thankfully dropped. Alien meets Blade Runner. Another idea, seemingly explored in the very earliest stages of Alien 3's production in the 1980s, was of Ripley and Newt ending up in a futuristic metropolis, albeit one on another planet, not Earth, where they hunted an especially mobile creature around the city sprawl. If the concept sounds a bit like Alien meets Blade Runner, this might be because the concept surfaced around the time Ridley Scott was being courted to return as director. Unfortunately for Fox, Scott was already embroiled in a number of projects in the late 80s. He'd just completed the thriller Someone to Watch Over Me, 1987, and was preparing to film Black Rain, 1989, and road trip drama Thelma and Louise, 1991. 2 sequels, and a screenplay by William Gibson. In one early concept, Giler and Hill envisioned a story which would take place over 2 films. In the first, Michael Biehn would take the lead as Hicks while Ripley would spend the entirety of the story in hypersleep and Newt would be sent back to the safety of Earth. The second film would have seen Ripley revived for another fight with her mortal enemy, the aliens. Although Giler and Hill's specific plans for Alien 4 remain hazy, their ideas for Alien 3 were explored at length, with famed sci-fi writer William Gibson.